Hi, my name is Tianu Tonga, and I have been a US citizenship instructor for the past 4 years at our local library. And I am making this video because I want to share really simple and basic information for individuals who are on the path of citizenship and naturalization. Um, and just to maybe help calm the nerves of those who are getting ready for the test and don't know what's going to happen, and give more information also to resources that are available to help them along the way. Also, another reason why I'm doing this video is because the videos that I see on YouTube in relation to citizenship, I feel are very sterile and just very, like just memorizing. When I teach my students, I don't like to memorize. Um, I don't like to memorize anything. I'm actually really bad at memorizing, but especially when it comes to um, US history and US government, because memorization and tests don't fare very well, especially if you are nervous. And so trying to understand the material is the best way to take any kind of test, because then if you forget something, there's always something that you can go back to that can help you figure out what it is that you're missing, or that what you have forgotten. I think that makes sense. Um, so this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 different parts of the citizenship test. Okay, so if you are eligible to take the citizenship test, or you turned in your M400 application and you're waiting to take your citizenship test and you don't know what to expect, this video is for you. Okay, so there are 5 parts to the US citizenship test. The first part is English conversation. The second part is reading one sentence in English. The third part is writing one sentence in English. The fourth part includes the 100 civic questions. And then the fifth and last part is the N400 application. Okay, so the first part, English conversation. English conversation is really basic and straightforward. You don't have to be an expert English speaker. You don't have to have an American accent. The object of the English conversation portion of the test is just to assess whether the individual has a basic comprehension and understanding of English. So the immigration officer is trying to see if the individual can understand what they are saying in English, and that they can also respond appropriately to what they are saying. So for example, just in regular interactions with people, you have small chit chat, right, that you make with them. The immigration officer will do the same thing with you. How are you doing today? How did you come to this test? Did you drive here? Did somebody drop you off? How long have you waited to take the test? Did you have any problems finding the building? And you can elaborate that with like, oh, I just came here, we went and got breakfast before coming here, whatever. It's just casual, regular conversation. Okay, so there's no expert level needed here, or technical terms either. It's just basic, simple English conversation. The second part to the test is reading one sentence in English, and I'm actually going to do the second and the third together because they're coupled together. Reading one sentence in English and writing one sentence in English. Now, the sentences for this portion of the test are available, and I will put a link in the description for the sentences. These sentences are very basic. So for example, one of the sentences for the writing portion of the test would be Alaska is the largest state, and you would have to write that. So let's start with the reading portion first. So reading the sentence, the immigration officer will point out one sentence to read, and you will read that sentence. That's it. The third part, writing a sentence in English, the immigration officer will choose a sentence, or will read a sentence out loud, which you will then write with a stylus and a pad the sentence down, and then they will check the sentence to see if it is correct or not. For both the reading and the writing parts of the test, you can miss a sentence up to three times. Did I say that correctly? So if you miss it the first time, you will have 2 other chances. If you miss it the first time, you will have 2 other chances, which makes 3, to get the sentence correct. The sentences that you will be writing, they don't have to be, like if you miss the letter E at the end of the sentence or the end of a word, you are not going to get the sentence wrong. As long as the sentence still makes sense, is comprehensible in English, it can be understood and in context, then you will pass that portion of the test. So it's really quite simple. And many of my students who are not English speakers or English is not their first language, they will take these lists of sentences, and for the writing portion sentences, group of sentences, they will just write all of the sentences down in a notebook, and then they'll just write them over and over again until they feel comfortable with the words. And then they'll have somebody in their family or a colleague or an acquaintance read the sentences out loud to them so that they can practice writing it as they dictate to them. Okay. The fourth part of the test is the 100 civic questions. Now, the 100 civic questions covers topics from US history and US government. And out of the 100 questions, only a maximum of 10 questions will be asked. So although there are 100 questions, only 10 of the questions maximum will be asked. And out of the 10 questions, you have to get 6 out of the 10 correct in order to pass this part of the test. Okay, so you can get 6 questions in a row correct, and after the 6 question is asked and you get it correctly, then they won't ask any more questions. If you answer 5 questions correctly, but you miss one, you still have a couple chances to get the correct answer, right? Because you have 10 questions maximum, you have to get 6 right, which means that you have 4 chances or opportunities to get the question right if you don't get it right the first time. So you can only miss 4 times, is what I'm saying. And the 100 questions are available on the uscis.gov website. This is the federal government's website for all things immigration and citizenship. It stands for the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. If you go to the uscis.gov website, there will be a link under citizenship. If you go to that link and you click on it, and then you go further down, you should find the 100 civic questions. And the 100 civic questions come in other languages besides English too. Not all of them, but some of them. So if you speak a different language other than English, and that would be helpful for you in your study, look at what other languages are available. And then the last part, the 5th part of the test, is the N400 application. Now, the N400 application is the application that you fill out when you are eligible to become a U.S. citizen. To be eligible to become a U.S. citizen, you have to have been a permanent resident or proved permanent continuous residency for the past 3 to 5 years. And so 3 years if you are married to an American citizen. So if your spouse is an American citizen, you have had to prove residency for 3 years. If you are not married to an American citizen, then you have to have proved residency for 5 years, okay? Because the application will ask you questions about the past 3 or 5 years, depending on which status you are. The questions on the N400 application are all your personal history. So it will ask about your work history, your home history, your children and how many of them you have, how many times you have left the country and for how many days, if your parents are citizens or not, which will not affect your application. And then at the end of the application, there will be 50 yes or no questions that will be asked you about various things from voting to taxes, to whether you associate or comply with communism or the Communist Party, to, have you ever been a vigilante or in a militia? And then the last couple questions of the yes or no questions will ask about the Constitution and our form of government and whether you support them or not. And that's the N400 application. So the N400 application, when you turn that into the government, there is a fee that you turn in with your application. You can fill out this application on that same website, the uscis.gov, and just follow the links there to apply for N400 application, or you can fill it out manually and post it from home. If you fail the test the first time, you can take it again. So every person gets 2 chances to take the test if they don't pass it the first time. If for some reason you don't pass it the first time, let's say you pass one part of the test but not the other parts of the test. So the immigration officer, if you fail, for example, fail the writing portion of the test, the immigration officer will stop the test right there, and you will be told that a letter will come in the mail, and when the letter comes in the mail, it will tell you which parts of the test you missed, and then also when the next date for your next test will be, or the second time to take the test. Okay. If you pass the test that first time, they will tell you at the end of taking the test. Okay, so you will know that day whether you pass the test. If you don't pass the test, I don't think that they actually say like you failed the test. I think that they just say you will get a letter in the mail, and in the mail it tells you that you failed the test. I think that's basically it for this. I just wanted to make this video because I feel like a lot of the videos on YouTube are kind of like not helpful. And a lot of my students, they're studying on their own, or they're studying with, actually most of them are studying on their own because many of them have younger children that aren't of the age of studying, or maybe their spouse doesn't speak English. Like for some reason, it's just them studying on their own. And I just really want to help individuals find the resources and the answers that they're looking for because 1, they're free, and 2, they're available. And so people shouldn't be paying money for these resources when you can find them online. I'm going to try and make more videos about citizenship and even the classes, if I can figure out how to do this video thing, because I'm not a video person, to make available, because I think our videos, the classes that I teach, and the intent that I teach with, which is not just to help my students pass the citizenship test, but I really want to put out the best citizens America's ever seen. That's one of my goals. So I really care about how I teach and why I teach, and I hope that that is conveyed in my lessons. And so I'll try to put those up. So to begin with, this will be a starter video for anybody who is looking to take the test and they don't know what to expect. This is, hopefully it's informational, and as we go along and as is necessary, I'll see what other videos to make that could be helpful on your path to citizenship. This means a lot to me because of my own journey with citizenship. I became a citizen in 2014, and that is a story for another time and another place. But I really want to help people on this journey because it's not just about understanding dates and places and historical themes and events, but it's about belonging, it's about connection, it's about finding home and adding to the soil here. And I think that we have a lot to offer America, as she has already offered so much to us. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.